Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when soaring over California meant riding Dumbo.
This is episode 131, our predictions for Disney's Soarin Across America.
Or, Disney, are you listening? Get your pencils out, because we've got some good ideas.
So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian adventure.
We call it Epcot.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 131 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And Molly's eating her treats over here on the... It's so cute.
I don't know if you can hear that or not.
If you don't have a dog, you need to get a dog.
Not ours. We have ours.
Not ours. No. Well, we're going to talk about the brand new attraction just announced for both Epcot and Disney California Adventure, and that is Disney's Soarin Across America. This one kind of took me by surprise.
Same.
I didn't know this one was even on the drawing board. I guess my Imagineering connections are starting to drop off a bit over the years. But anyway, I had no idea, but I am ecstatic. I cannot wait for this. I think it's something that I don't want to say should have been a long time ago. I love the idea that it's coming for our 250th USA anniversary.
Birthday.
Yeah. I guess we didn't really marry the British. We kind of divorced them. Actually, it's our divorce day. No. How does that work? Yeah, I guess it is more of a birthday. Yeah.
We'll go with that. And we're going to hear this a lot, so I'm going to say it here. It's a 250th birthday, which is the semi-quincentennial.
Quinn. Does that mean there's a Marvel tie-in? You know, the Quinjet? Is it? No?
Is that a thing?
I think that's a thing.
Harley Quinn?
No, that's DC.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, we don't
talk
about them. Yeah. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about DC. Yeah.
So, semi-quincentennial. We're going to hear that word all over the place, so you better practice it now.
Yeah, it's weird. I remember 1976 when we had the bicentennial. So I guess I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, you know. Yeah, we started with Soarin' over California, and then we went to Soarin' around the world, which is the one we have now, and now we get to soar across America. I think that's going to be really cool.
I can't wait. This whole idea, the whole concept of this attraction, it's such an easy fix to me. It's kind of like when they bring in the new Canada Pavilion ones, although we won't talk about the latest one because they need to go back a version. We won't say that with Soarin'. I have a feeling this one's going to be a real banger.
I hope so. I hope it has so much potential. Now, this is opening summer 2026. It's part of the Disney Celebrates America campaign that they're doing right now. It's, well, not right now, but really, really soon, because it starts on Veterans Day this year, which is 11/11. It's always November 11th. And that is going to go through July 4th of next year, which is our semi-quincentennial. So hopefully it's going to stick around longer than that, since it doesn't open until the summer. But
it makes me wonder if they're going to go ahead and run the promotion through the end of summer instead of just July 4th.
That would make more sense.
It seems like it would. But the attraction, I have a feeling, will be around for at least, I would say, probably a year.
That would be the minimum, I would hope.
Yeah.
If they're going to go through all the trouble to create this new footage, they need to make good use of it.
Well, they're going to have to rescore it, too. Soarin' around the world and Soarin' across America and Soarin' over California are all going to have different elements and different features, meaning that this is going to have a third version of the soundtrack.
Which I'm super excited about, because I love the first two. I'm excited to see what they do with the third one.
So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to each have 12 locations, because the other two films each have 12 locations, and 3 cents. And so we're going to also put our 3 cents in and say what those cents would be for at least a couple of these locations.
Particularly 3 of them.
Yes. So, Sue, why don't you start us off? What are your 12 locations and 3 cents?
All right, I'm going to kick this off. Mine don't really have a rhyme or reason as to why I picked them in this order. So they can go in any order that Disney sees fit. But, you know, of course, they're free to use my list if they want to. So I'm going to start off super classic, very iconic. We have to start with the Statue of Liberty in New York City. So New York City could encompass Statue of Liberty, Times Square, Brooklyn Bridge, all those great things that people see and think New York City, America. I think that would be a great place to either start or end, maybe. Of course, we're going to end in the parks like we always do, but we'll get there. Next up, I have California. We have to hit both coasts. California is in itself an icon, but we've already had Soarin' over California. It had its own version of this ride, so I struggled on what to pick as what they're going to show for California, and I finally landed on the Redwoods, mainly because it is not LA, and it's not a big city. It's a gorgeous part of California, very picturesque. You're going to get a lot of good footage through there, going amongst the trees. Suddenly I'm picturing Return of the Jedi now and Endor, but that's different.
That's right, that was the Redwoods.
It was.
Yeah.
And this is where I have my first scent, and that's going to be the pine scent. Now, redwoods don't smell like pine. They smell sort of earthy and like dirt. So ideally, this would be like the scent that they use right now in the Africa, in the over the world, or around the world, which is my favorite of the scents in that one. But I think just because visually you're seeing the green trees and the rainforest type atmosphere, the pine scent's going to go better there. Next, I have us going right in the middle of the country, and we're going to go to the Mississippi River. I'd love to see a close-up of a steamboat, because those were so important to Walt. And then, of course, the St. Louis Gateway Arch, gateway to the west. Would love to see this as part of the film, not only because we live in Missouri, but because it is very classic American, big part of going the whole Westward Ho movement, you know, expanding the country, that sort of thing. So that should definitely have a place. And now we're going to go west a little bit, and we're going to go to the Grand Canyon. Have to have the Grand Canyon in this montage. It is so beautiful. It is so picturesque. It is so grand. You know, it's right there in the name. It's just there. So I definitely think Grand Canyon needs to be a part of this. And then keeping sort of in that same rock formation kind of vein, I would love to see us go to South Dakota and have Mount Rushmore.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, so this is going to be, again, rock formations, but with some man-made help. So Mount Rushmore, of course, 4 presidents carved into the rock. If you haven't seen this in person, I highly recommend going to see this in person if you are able to. Everybody thinks they've seen it because it's in movies and TV shows and on coins, and it's everywhere. But seeing it in person really hits differently. I highly recommend this as a road trip location. Next up, we have to hit the capital, of course. I'm going to say D.C. I'm going to recommend the Lincoln Monument, Washington Monument, the mall there, and Arlington. I would love to see that representing our nation's capital. Now, the next one is a little vague. I don't have a specific town necessarily, but I would love to see some of the lighthouses showcased in the state of Maine. They, again, very iconic. I'd love to see either Maine or Cape Cod or Rhode Island, any of those picturesque rocky coastline with the lighthouses. I definitely think needs a place there. And then going back to the west, I have us in Wyoming, and I would love to see Yellowstone. So this would be Old Faithful, most likely, that ancient geyser that we see. And I would hope that maybe we don't have a sulfur scent. I don't know, Disney, maybe you could do something with that. But that just sounds a little scary to me. But maybe not sulfur.
And brimstone, too.
And
yeah.
brimstone,
Yeah.
yes, please. Next, we have to hit the 2 outliers. So let's go to Alaska. I want to see glaciers. I want to see bears, totems, northern lights, and please, please, semi-Iditarod puppies, because they are so cute. I'd love to see Alaska representation. And then to the other extreme, let's go to Hawaii. This is where we can have that classic island scent that they currently use in Fiji. It would fit with the beaches and the lush landscape. Love to see some of the pineapple fields, some of those things that we just naturally associate with the state of Hawaii. Maybe a luau. That would be really cool. Some of the culture, their culture is so, so rich. So I'd love to see some of that. Maybe some Dole Whip. I don't know.
You'd have to fly by really fast, though.
Maybe it's a Dole Whip scent. They could do the pineapple scent.
With the pineapple fields.
Ooh, I kind of like that. Next up, we're going to go to New Orleans. So this is going to be vastly different down to the south. We're going to hit some of that Creole culture. I would love to see a clean version of Mardi Gras, if such a thing exists. And so you're having maybe some of the floats, some of the costumes. And I would love to have a new scent represented here, and that would be the scent of beignets filling the air. I think that would be really cool. And then, of course, we can't have America without having Texas. So you got to have some Texas in there. Most of the world, if they're not familiar with specifics of America, they think we're all cowboys. So I think we should have some cowboy representation here. Maybe the Alamo or the Stockyards, or just some general cowboys riding around being cowboys, I think would be great. So that would be my 12 with my 3 cents. And again, in no particular order. And then I would love to see us land at the park that you are currently watching the show in, which is how it is currently.
I love that. There's going to definitely be some overlap in this. I can already see. So.
Well, I mean, America's got so many icons. We're going to have some overlap, obviously.
Yeah.
So let's hear yours, Rod.
Mine are going to be a little more in an order. So my version of Soarin Across America is going to go starting at the Disneyland Resort. No matter which side of the coast you're on, we're going to start at California Adventure and venture out initially to Oahu, out into Hawaii. And the idea is to fly over the coast and, of course, go past the Aulani. I'm going to throw a little synergy in here, DVC. Have some Disney characters waving at you, and then out over the pineapple groves. And much like the orange smell in California, we're going to get a pineapple smell going out across the pineapple fields of Hawaii. Then back to the mainland. Scene number 2 would be at Morro Bay, California. This is the location. It's an actual city and coastline village, I guess is the best way to put it, where Finding Dory took place. In the animated version, all you saw was a freeway and a coastline and a large aquarium, none of which, well, the coastline exists, but Morro Bay is more known for the Inner Harbor and the Embarcadero and Morro Rock. And also just north of that, the Seals and Hearst Castle. So I think a nice fly up the coast past those, headed up towards our next scene, which is going to be Seattle. And I like the idea of coming in and flying out from the bay and out around over the fish market and around the Space Needle. And you probably have Fraser Crane waving. No, I guess that's probably not a good idea. Scene number 4 would then go further north up into Alaska to Glacier Bay, like Sue mentioned, and fly over the glaciers. I love the idea of having the bears and all that in there. I hadn't even thought of that, of course. You have to have a polar bear. Or
grizzly bear catching a salmon.
Oh, yeah. And this would be the second of the smells, and this would be the salt air. That is already in both of the other 2 versions. Anytime you have coastline, it makes sense to throw that in, I think. Then back down to the 48 and over to Yellowstone. Fly over the falls at the Yellowstone River, the Yellowstone Falls, and then over the geysers. My initial thought was to have the smell of sulfur here, but I think I agree with Sue. We grew up around the hot springs in Avila Beach on the coast in California, and it's not a very pleasant smell, so we'll just stay away from that. Yeah.
You don't want that on vacation.
And then down to St. Louis and the Gateway Arch. And I hadn't thought about having a flyover of a steamboat. That is so perfect. I love that idea.
Well, would like that.
Then we're going to go a little farther over to Branson, Missouri. This is kind of the hillbilly Disneyland. And we're going to fly down the Strip, the famous Las Vegas-looking Strip in Branson, Missouri. And then all the way back down to Dallas. So we're staying in the Midwest, and we're going to finish it out flying. I like over the stockyards, like you mentioned. I think it's a really good idea. My original thought was just flying over the city at night with those iconic buildings, and then past Big Tex, which is the big icon animatronic, giant big animatronic at the State Fairgrounds there in Texas.
Good idea.
Over to New Orleans, but my thought was not to go to New Orleans, but to the bayous. This actually came to me when I was watching a video of the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland. The idea of the bayou, and then you could have a Princess and the Frog tie-in and have, you pass Lewis playing his horn and you pass some of the other characters waving at you. got to keep the East Coast in. Sue mentioned Cape Cod. This is also someplace I think would be a great location to fly up and around the island and past the lighthouse. And then the last location is down to Cape Canaveral, where you fly in over the ocean into the area with the launch pads and a big rocket launch at the end. And that's going to be kind of the big ending sequence that you get. Like if you remember from Soarin' Over California, you had the scene with the jets flying over, just that big pause and then the big finale feel to it. And then it ends at Epcot. So you start in California, you end at Epcot, no matter which coast you're on. That's my 12.
I love that. And that rocket launch at the end as the big finale is very reminiscent of the original Universe of Energy attraction.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
that's
they
where I've
featured
seen
that.
it. That's where I got the idea. You're right.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Oh, that's fun. The whole idea and the whole feel of it being like America the Beautiful, though, from Circle Vision. I kind of love the idea of flying across California all the way to Florida and back and forth over Alaska and Hawaii and the Midwest, which is usually forgotten about by a lot of folks in the U.S.
It's not just cornfields, folks.
It isn't. That's pretty much just Iowa. So
and a lot of Kansas.
True. So what are your runners-up?
Well, of course, I do have runners-up. I can't make just a list and have it be a list. So I do have a couple of runners-up. I had a couple in California. I wasn't sure what they would feature, so I also had down Golden Gate Bridge and Yosemite, both of which are featured in Soarin' Over California. So I don't know that they would reuse either one of those, but they are very iconic parts and beautiful parts of California. So maybe. I also had the Space Needle, which you had, and I thought we might do a coffee scent.
Oh, I like that. Little Starbucks tie-in. I love it.
I thought that would be fun. You gotta have coffee in Seattle. Next up was the Vegas Strip. Not my favorite part of the U.S., but again, you have very memorable locations there with all the neon and the desert and the lights and the whole thing. The Sphere now.
Yeah. Oh, I like that idea. I had Vegas on my runners-up, too, because I had replaced it with Branson.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so similar.
What is this place?
Branson, Missouri. My dad says it's like Vegas if it were run by Ned Flanders.
Next up on my runners-up was Santa Fe. And this has kind of made the list because it's a personal preference, but I love the Santa Fe vibe. I love that whole feel of New Mexico, but particularly Santa Fe, especially with the Christmas luminarias, where the city is lit up with the candles in the little bags. It is so, so gorgeous. And that Native American architecture is just stunning. And then last of my honorable mentions is going to be back in Wyoming, and it's going to be Devil's Tower.
Ooh, a little Close Encounters of the Third Kind feel. I like it.
Yes, I love Devil's Tower. It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen in the U.S., personally seen. And I think it would be super cool with drone footage to go around it and up and over, and could be really cool. Rod, what were your runners-up?
Well, Las Vegas, I mentioned. The other one was Mount Rushmore, because we've been up there to see the presidents, and it's just, it's larger and just more grand in scale than I would have ever thought. And so I had to put that into my runners-up.
Nice. Very nice.
Well, Sue, after combining our two, is there any that you would replace one of yours with after hearing mine?
I don't know that I would replace any, but I would like to add to my New Orleans, where I had a clean version of Mardi Gras. I would add in your Bayou idea and have that encompassed with the New Orleans, Louisiana area, because that was such a good idea. I love that it comes out of the opening of Pirates, going through that scene with the fireflies, and you could have Ray and Evangeline up in the distance where you fly by. That would be super cute. So I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of for me would be Mount Rushmore. I think I might put that in place of something, maybe take out Seattle and put that in, or take out Branson and put that in. I'm not sure. Or just add a 13th location. Because we're making the rules up. Why not? We'll just add that in.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to add in one more. And I'm going to say I have a runner-up that would be the Shenandoah Valley.
Ooh, Virginia. I
Yes.
like that idea.
I don't know why this wasn't in my head, but that valley is extraordinary. I would totally love to see drone footage going through there, especially in the autumn. If they're filming it right now, which I think they are, that would be amazing. Anything in that area. No, I'm just going to keep going now. Never mind.
There's just so many iconic places in the U.S. How do you pick 12?
I know. So just as a reminder, this doesn't open until summer 2026, but it is part of that celebration, which is starting in just a few days. So be on the lookout for some specials, especially if you are part of a military family. They're going to be running all kinds of specials for the military community. So be on the lookout for that. There's going to be discounts and families of the day and things happening at the parks. They are just sort of teasing things to come, but it's all starting on Veterans Day this year. So start looking for those now.
Well, folks, that's our predictions for Disney's Soarin' Across America. Let us know down in the comments. Did we get those right? Did we get those wrong? What would you like to see be in that film? I can't wait personally. I don't care what it is. I just can't wait to see us soar across America. Before we go, we'd like to give a big thanks to our theme music composer, Jason Patrick Rowan, whose music is licensed to Pond 5. And of course, thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 131 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Howdy, folks. This is Big Tennis. Welcome to the state of Texas.